Welcome back to HB Unfiltered Sports Talk. I'm joined by the Stiff Brownie, and I'm the Dirtbag. And our show is brought to you by J3 Supply Group for your hoses and fitting specialist needs. Come on down to Huntington Beach. Great guys. Let's start with, how was your weekend, Tim?
I had a great weekend. Friday was amazing. I had a charity golf deal that I played in for Big Brothers Big Sisters. Shout out to Liang and Quinley Wealth Management. They put on a fantastic tournament as always. Raised $17,000 for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Awesome charity, awesome tournament. I'm not very good at golf, so you know.
Wow, that's a lie.
That is what it is.
You're pretty good, man. You don't know. If you see me out on the golf course, I'll show you what bad is.
You know, then we get well. Maybe we should get you out there. Let's do that.
Oh God.
We did. We had
Cover up your windows.
We had the Final Four for the men's, which was amazing. Then we had the finals for the women's. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy that's been going around with the women's final. It was LSU versus Iowa.
Yes.
It was the best player in the nation in Clark versus an outstanding female for LSU by the name of Angel Reese.
Yes.
And for people that don't know the backstory, Miss Clark was basically throwing up 40-point games and shooting like she was the second coming of Steph Curry. And in doing so, she'd do one of these little facial movements, you know, like you can't see me type thing. And then when Reese and LSU absolutely blew out Iowa, Reese did that back to her along with the "we've got a championship on our finger" ring thing.
Right.
How do you feel about all that? Because to me, as a competitor,
I don't have a problem with it actually.
at all.
Yeah.
At all. And I feel like society is so soft now. It's now like affecting and ruining sports. You know, it's like there's two competitors out there. It's not based on race, and you know, people are like, oh well, it's a bad look, you know, because they were blowing them out. Okay, maybe it was a bad look in the timing of everything, but to me, I had no problem with it because until I've absolutely lost the game, I'm still talking smack.
Yeah. Well, to the case in point, Caitlin Clark in the quarterfinals in Iowa, I think they beat a team that was like evenly matched, and they won by like 40. They blew them out, and she was doing the hand thing all game long. So
you know,
but Caitlin Clark, she is amazing. She's amazing, man. I watched actually a lot of the games, and that girl is absolutely amazing. She should be definitely like the first pick, you know, in the WNBA draft. But
well, she won the Wooden Award as best player in college basketball for the season or for the year.
Yes,
and she's not even eligible. I think she's like a sophomore, so she's not even eligible for the WNBA draft.
Oh wow!
But it bothers me that society has lost just grow up here, man. People talk smack in sports.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about, you know, the Kobe Bryants and the GOAT being Michael Jordan. All they did was talk smack. They talked a lot of smack because they were confident in themselves and they were winners.
Dude.
And so, like, I don't feel at all bad about what took place.
Hey,
and neither should either athlete.
I'll tell you.
But she's getting a lot of backlash for no reason.
I'll tell you what. It all started with how we raise our children. I'm old. I'm 52. My parents would beat the shit out of me if I acted up or got out of control. If we went out, you know, in public or whatever, they'd hit me upside the head, and they didn't care. They weren't worried that everybody had their camera on them and videotape them and call CPS. People calling, you know, Child Protective Services when they don't even have kids. That's the problem now. We have to do timeouts. We can't raise our kids the way we used to, and that goes hand in hand with sports. We become way too soft. As a society.
Yep.
You know?
I agree with you.
There's a reason you have to be hard sometimes, because it changes. It makes you humble. It brings you in line with the rest of, you know, society at the time.
Reese and Kate and Clark, Miss Clark, they're going to be awesome WNBA players. I still won't watch them because I refuse to watch the WNBA. It's just not my cup of tea. But for those that are out there, both are outstanding athletes. They're competitors. They're winners. And that's what we should be embracing and not talking about the way somebody's talked smack to another person when they were down. It's just like, whatever.
All right, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to defend the WNBA basketball. And yes, there's no high-flying dunks, there's no alley-oops, but I'll tell you what, when you watch the games, and I know you don't watch them, this is why I'm telling you, they actually run set plays, backdoor passes, screens.
So it's more college-esque?
Yes, it's actually decent basketball. It's the way the game should actually be played. While the NBA is just
one-on-one.
Dude, it is street ball, man.
Yeah, it's one-on-one.
Everybody, like, I don't know how many times I watched LeBron the other night against Utah. Like, that game shouldn't have been close. Their two top players, Utah, first of all, is not a very good team. Then their two best players weren't even playing in the game. The Lakers are up 124 to 114 with 58 seconds left and let the Jazz tie them.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that happens. There's a 24-second clock. 2 possessions, you got to make them foul you and put you on the line and stay ahead. You know what I mean?
You think the NBA is getting involved?
I just, you know what? Sometimes I know, conspiracy, but it almost feels like they just want more drama. And, you know, LeBron can take it to the rack anytime he wants. The guy's still a physical freak, no matter whether you like him or dislike him, whatever. The guy plays like he's 24 years old.
Sure.
And he settles for like these,
Step back to the left,
step back three-pointer that's like a 4-pointer.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can take it, zigzag your way, or bully your way to the hoop every single time if you wanted to.
Yep.
But he doesn't do it. And what I was getting to about the basketball, the NBA, I don't know how many times I saw him just take the ball and didn't even pass it, runs the clock down to 7 seconds, and then shoots it. It's like, what kind of offense? Like Darvin Ham, dude, call a play.
Yeah.
Make a screen. Pass the ball.
Yeah.
The whole point of basketball is to pass it till you find the open guy.
It's awfully difficult to watch the BLM league, no doubt.
Okay, I gotta bring up real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you go. For
Hoosiers. You watched that movie Hoosiers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Remember when he was teaching the kids? They didn't even have basketball. They didn't shoot. They're like, "Well, coach, when are we going to shoot?" No, you need to learn the fundamentals.
Sure.
We're going to pass the ball, and you're going to pass the ball at least 4 times before we shoot it. And back then, they didn't even have a shot clock. He could have said, "We're going to pass it 10 times."
Sure.
And then the one kid just kept on chucking it up, coming down. So what did he do? He took him out. You know.
Yep.
Kicked his own player out and went with only 4 guys on the court because they only had like 6 on the team.
Speaking of team basketball, how great was that national championship game on Monday?
Oh, it was.
I mean, we called it, but
well, actually, the first half, San Diego State came out and took the early lead. They make like 4 of their first 5 shots, and then man, they went cold.
Yeah.
They should have been like Dan Hurley, the coach of UConn, said at halftime. He goes, "We should actually be up by 20, not 12."
True.
I mean, they missed so many easy shots. Both UConn and San Diego State. They couldn't. I thought there was a thing covering the hoop.
Yeah.
I mean,
which means that over should have hit by a lot more than it did.
Oh.
I mean, would it clear it by not 8 or 9 points?
Wow. Yeah. 2 defensive teams, but yeah, I'm glad it got a little closer at the end. But yeah, UConn, they deserve it. What a great team.
Great team, like from top to bottom. Great team.
Yeah.
Coach exemplifies team basketball. The players play team basketball. They beat another outstanding team in San Diego State. San Diego State had a chance, man. At 5 points, they had gotten it right back there, and then they just didn't make that 3 that they needed, and then it could have been anybody's ball game, and you could just see them get deflated. And
yeah, and the right Hurley won, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's a
Thank
lot
God
better.
that little prick Bobby didn't win.
Well, Bobby was a better athlete, but his brother's just a much better coach.
Yes.
And, I mean, he's got a lot of big shoes to fill, coming from, going into, I should say, UConn with Calhoun and all the championships that they won.
Even Ollie.
Yeah.
Kevin Ollie won a championship his first year.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's go back real quick. I know you don't like talking about women's basketball too much, but LSU. Mulkey is the head coach of LSU.
Yeah, that was a great story.
Okay,
go ahead.
She grew up in Louisiana. She went to Louisiana Tech. She was the point guard for Louisiana Tech when they played USC and Cheryl Miller in the national title
yes,
games.
Yes.
And she was their little pesky guard, and now she went on to become a great coach. She went to Baylor. She was at Baylor. She won 3 national titles at Baylor, right?
Yeah.
She ends up leaving and going to LSU, who normally is not very good in women's basketball, and now has taken them to a title.
Yeah.
Is she not like one of the best coaches?
She's right up there with Pat Summitt, no doubt.
I mean, well, she's way behind Pat Summitt as far as wins and still championships. But yes, she's on her way. I would definitely put her like top 3 of women's coaches in NCAA basketball all time.
She gets a lot of respect.
Not for her clothing.
Oh,
you see some of the outfits she wore? I'm like, somebody shoot that thing walking down the sideline.
But Gino and her, they built a great program. They build great women as far as taking them from probably being just athletes and immature women to women.
Yeah.
And serving a purpose in society, whatever they go on to do after that, just like Pat Summitt did.
Yeah.
And that's great to see.
Yeah, UConn. How many great players have gone on to have like just epic
great
careers,
professional careers,
like Sue Bird,
sure,
Rebecca Lobo, just to name a few. But
Sue Bird's
there's a large list.
Sue Bird's like the face of the United States women's basketball team as well. So I mean, I know she's retired now, but she was the figurehead basically as the athlete. So.
She never lost in college.
I know.
4 national titles. Is that ridiculous?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Oh, well.
Okay, so what else do we need to talk here before we wrap up the first episode here today?
We talked extensively on this podcast about bringing winners, especially when it came to golf and baseball, because those are our backgrounds that we're really good at.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely crushing baseball this season. I will figure out a way to be able to get the picks out, even if it's just by posting something on our website or Twitter account or whatever
more
we
good
got.
things are coming. Hang in there with us.
Because last week you absolutely killed the Valero Open.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. The Valero Open.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the first week of baseball and you crushing it. I mean, it's just starting and you're coming out of the gates hot.
Today I'm 3-0. I round robined everything, so that's going to be a nice little punch to the gut for my bookies out there.
Now let's tell our listeners, because I'm even intrigued because I know betting and everything. Please discuss to our listeners how round robin works.
Okay, so round robin is basically there's 3 teams. Let's take very basic numbers. So you pair 2 team parlays with like 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3.
Okay,
so it's 3 parlays.
Got it.
And the reason you do that, especially at least what I like to do, is because some of these money lines get so huge that it's not cost effective. Because if you do them individually at minus 250, you're losing 2.5 units every single time that team doesn't win. But if you do it in a parlay, you may be doing the parlay for $1,000, for $100 or whatever.
Okay.
And you're not probably making even money because the money lines are so big, but you're not making much less than even money. And when those money lines are that big, I look at it from the standpoint that they're going to win the game. Like, for instance, today Tampa Bay was heavily favored. I think it was like minus 270.
Okay.
Houston playing against Detroit was massive.
Okay.
Actually, I think Tampa Bay was minus 170, and I want to say Houston was minus 250.
Oh.
So what it does is it doesn't allow so much exposure on the bettor's end.
Okay, so just to break it down in dummy man terms, what if one team loses? Do you still make money, or do you lose, or do you push?
Well, what in that scenario, when it's 3 teams and one loses, you will be, and the other 2 win, you'll basically break even. And the reason I say that is because I also take the run line. And in hockey, you have a puck line,
right.
And in baseball, you have a run line. Everything else is a spread.
Okay.
So I also bet those, and usually the team that is heavily favored, they usually win by two runs or more.
Right.
So I end up basically covering my butt.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So today my 3 picks were the Tampa Bay Rays, and this is also something I want the listeners to know. So the Washington Nationals are god awful this season. Detroit is pretty bad.
Right.
Okay. So you want to pick on those teams. Okay.
Okay.
That's why the money lines are so high.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Patrick Corbin is awful as a pitcher. Okay. He plays on the Washington Nationals, which are an awful team.
Yeah.
So today is not hump day for me. It's fade Patrick Corbin day.
Oh, gotcha.
So yes, I always will fade this guy. And there's several other pitchers in the past years. Homer Bailey, Bundy when he was with the Angels because he was so bad. Or Dylan.
Bundy ate up innings, man.
Yeah,
he's
but
just been
horrible.
on bad teams. He's been on the Orioles and the Angels, but that guy ate up innings.
Well, when he was with the Orioles, I bet against him every single time. Homer Bailey's with Cincinnati Reds.
Yes.
I mean, I can go down the list. Patrick Corbin's my guy this year that I will continually bet
Hey,
against.
real quick before we go to a break, the Dodgers traded away Yasiel Puig and Kemp for Homer Bailey and then cut him. That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, they were just trying to get money out.
I
of the
know,
books,
I
right?
know they were. All right, we're gonna have to take a break here, and we'll be right back.